She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain. She'll be coming round the mountain when she comes. Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, Magnetic Reversal News, Sacred Geography, and Shinrin Yoku, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Wednesday, February 1st, the first podcast of February, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time, 2023. Take a look at Comet 96P Matchholz. It reached perihelion the other day, and it is making a spectacular turn in its orbit. And we have the full story in just a few minutes. The big story, Texas is buried under ice. When can you drive safely? Well, by Friday. Keep calm. It's boom time. A winter storm has blanketed much of Texas in a thick sheet of ice, leaving behind slick roads and disrupting travel. In fact, crews across the region are treating major roads and intersections with sand and salt, but many residential streets are still covered over in ice. In the last 48 hours, since 5 a.m. on Monday, MedStar has responded to 168 crashes, of which 21 were rollovers. And the ice storm live updates over 340,000 customers without power earlier today. And we have the number at 307,000 when we began the video. Let's take a look. And that has improved. No, it hasn't. 357,000. Almost 500,000 people without Texas in the nexus of the Schmexus. We hope you have backup power, backup batteries, and a backup food supply or a plan in place. Now, we've been warning about this for years. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance, especially during life-threatening wind chills, which are coming to Maine. It's insane. We've been warning about it for a week now. Life-threatening wind chills Friday into the weekend, with the worst on Saturday morning, with wind chills potentially now at 50 to 65 degrees below zero, which would destroy some of the records. Now, we posted this up on our Twitter earlier today. This tweet coming directly from National Weather Service Caribou, and they responded. Thank you, National Weather Service Caribou. And they said that, well, we didn't get it all correct. In fact, there have been other records. Let's take a look at what they said. They said that our record cold for the state as a whole was Big Black River record of minus 50 back on January 16th, 2009. That's the lowest temperature ever recorded, in fact, in Maine. And for Caribou, it was minus 41 on February 1st, 1955. And it looks like we may break those records. Katahdin, minus 87. That's a wind chill. Holy macaroni. And Monocket, minus 56. Patton, minus 57. Ashland, minus 61. Dickey, going to certainly be shortened there at minus 61 in the wind chill. St. Pamphile, minus 64. Al Gore, shut up! Get in your hole! He said there's no snow, it's just cold. Well, in fact, there is snow up there, and it's going to be very cold. Here is that ice storm in Texas, and you can see today the temperatures lingering at that freezing mark. But by Thursday and into Friday, that is going to lift. So it's going to be warming up in Texas in the next 24 hours. But the cold plume is going to move east like a beast. Negative 25, minus 18 Saturday. Ho, 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 ho. That is chilly, minus 30. That's the actual reading, folks. So heads up if you're in Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, or the Dax. It is going to be cold this weekend. The coldest weekend maybe in decades. And then it's going to warm up. It's going to look great on Monday. That'll be your fun day. Snowfall analysis from the last 48 hours is looking, well, very limited. Huge totals in one mountain town here with over 3 feet of snow in Colorado. How? A little bit of heavy snow in western Montana, but the Northeast, like a beast, picking up, well, snow in every state except for PA. Hey, it's coming for you. Take a look at the snow models through February 17th. Snow all the way to the coast from South Carolina up to Maine. Cross your fingers. We're just going to move it through for the next few days. There is that ice and winter storm system in Texas going to be bringing some more accumulation, potentially up to 8 inches of snow in some regions north of Dallas. Holy macaroni. Arkansas picking up snow, Tennessee, as well as Kentucky, maybe a little bit up in the Appalachians, couple sprinklings up there in Snowshoe. Who knew? Here is your Saturday through Sunday forecast. Heavy snow is going to be moving in through the Pacific Northwest, all the way down through the Central Sierras through Monday morning. And then the system is going to move through the Four Corners region, bringing some snow to our region, moderate at best, but it will pick up here Wednesday through Thursday. Four Corners is going to be picking up a storm that's going to move up through the northern plains and bring more snow to Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and Iowa, especially in the northern areas. Take a look. And we'll just run this through for fun. But this is way off, so we do not rely on those models. Now, here's the forecast. Ice and heavy rain in the southern states. Upcoming Arctic blast for the Northeast like a beast. The epic ice storm across portions of the southern U.S. will come to an end on Thursday. Thank goodness. A system tracking near the Gulf Coast will clear out the frozen mess, while also producing heavy rain and perhaps severe thunderstorms for the Gulf Coast states. A couple of flash flood warnings and watches in green, winter storm watches and freezing in purple, ice storm warning for many regions. Click on your county for more info. Now, meanwhile, a glancing shot of Arctic air will sweep through the Northeast on Friday to produce very dangerous wind chills on Saturday. So, heed the warnings. Now let's take a look at this epic snow forecast for Europe. It looks like Austria, almost the entire country, is going to be buried in just a very short time. Yeah. By Monday, the entire country of Austria, 33% of it will be under a meter of snow. Ho, ho, ho. Santa's come to save you. And the forecast for snow looks pretty good for the UK, hey, Scotland, Ireland, and other regions that have been lacking snow. It may take a while to pick up, but are you picking up what we're putting down? Italy is going to be buried. The Alps, Austria is going to have record snow totals. All of the country of Turkey and many other regions across the pond are going to be picking up snow, including northern Africa. Hello. Strong earthquake shakes the southern Philippines. Officials say a strong, shallow earthquake has shaken the mountainous region in southeastern Philippines, but there are no immediate reports of major damage or injuries. This occurred earlier this morning when we were setting up the show. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology say the Mag 6.1, which was a surface quake at just 10 kilometers, was triggered by a local fault and was centered at a depth of 7 miles. Hello. Seismic update, no quakes of note. Got some activity here in South America, 5.0 in Ecuador at 10 kilometers. Nothing spectacular. Here's the quake we were talking about over in the Philippines. An aftershock there at 4.6. Nothing really happening anywhere. What's this? Oh, Moro, Colorado, 3.1. Could be a frac quake. Before we continue with the volcano news, take a look at the European forecast and the rest of the world. This is coming from Electroverse. He's literally diving into the snow, yo. Heavy snow sweeps northern India. Summer cold snap grips eastern Australia. Record cold from Canada to Trinidad. Plus a full-blown Arctic outbreak to engulf Europe. And we just covered that and the snow that's coming. No one's bumming. Check out Cap Alon's newest update on electroverse.co below, where all the links will be. Worldwide volcano news update. What do we have here? Steady lava fountain continues at Kilauea Summit. Yes, the Big Island, the activity continues. Scientists recently captured new photos of the lava flow in the Halemaumaumalama lava lake. And there you can see that it is an active volcano on the Big Island. Now, as far as the rest of the news, Santa Rita, Popo, Samarush, Chevalush, nothing was looking spectacular as of us organizing this, but take a look. Sangay to 20,000, Chevalush 13,000 after a 20,000 puff earlier tonight. Popo, new discrete emissions to 21. Semaru moving to 14,000. Nothing spectacular. The only significant update is Epi volcano in Vanuatu Take a look at this. A powerful submarine explosion occurred today. Alert status was raised to orange. A new vigorous submarine explosion occurred at the volcano this morning. Judging from available images, which are just 2 here that we're looking at, it was likely a phreomagmatic eruption, meaning that there was some kind of seawater that is mixing with the magma to cause that violent explosion. It generated a black, dense ash column accompanied by billowing, round-shaped white to gray phoenix clouds, which are completely laden with moisture. This is what caused by a steam explosion. Now, there's probably also a subsequent small tsunami, at least, that occurred with this moving up in the region. And significant explosive interaction might be caused by the presence of water, is what they say. That's a phreomagmatic explosion, in fact. Pyroclastic material rose about 100 meters above sea level preceding the eruption. Local people reported the steam emitting from the submarine volcano prior to the explosion, which is a telltale sign of an impending eruption. Based on increased activity, authorities and the Vanuatu Meteorology and Geohazards Department, the VMGD, raised the level of the volcano to orange, which is good news. The warning bulletin states that ballistic impacts of volcanic bombs, pyroclastic flows, and tsunamis could affect the area of about 10 kilometers distance from the main crater. So, stay away. People in Epi and surrounding islands are advised to stay on alert for any large explosions which would trigger a large tsunami. And if you never heard of Epi, you're not the only one, neither have I. There it is, off the shore there in Vanuatu. And if you want some general information, we could just go over that real quick here. A large caldera, hello, let me shrink my mug down here. A large caldera with submarine post-caldera cones active in historic times lies off the eastern coast of Epi Island. Epi Island itself, located slightly west of the main New Hebrides volcano arc, largely consists of 2 quaternary volcanoes, Mount Aloembe and West, and Pomare, which is Cavani Kutali on the east, which is Tavani Rudo, which forms an elongated eastern extension of the Epi Island across the narrow isthmus. And this is the region where that steam is coming out in the subaqueous environment. Now let's take a look at the eruptive history. This isn't a game changer. This is not going to end the Earth. But we certainly have VEI2s and even a VEI3 back here in 1953. So this is capable of phreomagmatic VEI3, which would be devastating to the region. Potentially more, because there's very limited data. It ends at 1920. Isn't that funny? Now, another piece of information we want to bring to your attention is a spike in cosmic rays that's happening during solar max, which is very odd because cosmic radiation spikes during solar minimum. So all these peaks in cosmic rays are during the solar minimums. Solar max is down here, but in fact, our sun is in solar max now, as you can see by the jagged line, which begins during solar maximum here, solar maximum here, solar maximum here, solar maximum here. You get the picture. Solar minimum at the peak. The peak cosmic rays is at the minimum, and we've already got through the peak, but we're peaking now again in the last 5 days. And there's very little explanation for that. We just want to bring it to your attention. We are in the cosmic ray maximum. This is the highest cosmic rays ever recorded on Earth back in 2010. We approached that number back in 2020. And it is my supposition that by 2030, we are going to be experiencing some of the highest cosmic rays in recorded history. Space weather news update. The sun is quiet, dipping down into B range. A couple small C flares mean nothing to the disk, which overall, let's take a look at the latest HMI intensity, is completely blank. Almost embarrassing for a solar maximum sun. This would be indicative of grand solar minimum sun at solar max. And that's what we're seeing here. Now take a look at Comet 96P match holds, making a show and popping off CMEs like it's nobody's business. Boom, 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 boom. It is our supposition and many others that these coronal mass ejections are being popped off because of this little magnetic anomaly, this electric comet in Match-Holtz. which is now, well, moving away from the solar disk. And in fact, has not been destroyed and probably will not be. Now, here is the Sky Live 3D Solar System Simulator, and there we're looking at Comet 96P Matsholz. You can see it below the plane of the ecliptic there, and we're going to just run it through. I just want to bring you up to speed on what this looks like. Here is the Earth position, and we'll just move that in front here. So here you can see Earth and Venus and Mercury and the Sun and Matsholz, and we're just going to run it through. That was perihelion the other day, so that's kind of the position currently of the comet as it moves away. So it is no longer in danger of coming in contact with any other object in our solar system until it comes back down here. Let's just bring this all out here until it finishes this arc. And comes pretty close here to Jupiter. So its entire orbit is between Jupiter and the Sun. And it is a very bizarre object that very few people have been able to explain, except that it is an alien object into our solar system. Look at how close it comes. 1/3 the distance from Mercury to the Sun. So at some point, this baby is going to get a little too close for comfort here in one of these flybys, and it will be bye-byes. Certainly, indeed, for Comet 96P Matsholz. And when it rips apart, will pieces hit Mercury and then the Earth? Nobody knows. But it looks like all is good on the Western Front as Comet 96P Matsholz makes its way away from the inner solar system in just a few days. Now, new research shows the LSU campus mounds in Louisiana. And this is the mound builders. We've talked about this. This is like the Cokie mounds, serpent mound that was made supposedly by Fort Ancient and then lived upon by the Hopewell. Well, the information is going a lot deeper than you once thought. This mound here on the right has been dated to 11,000 years ago. That's mind-blowing. In fact, it's the oldest man-made structure known in North America. Now, 2 large grassy mounds that are about 20 feet tall on LSU's campus are among more than 800 man-made mounds in Louisiana, built by ancient indigenous people, which archaeologists gave them names, which is completely embarrassing. He named these people the Hopewell, the Fort Ancient, and on, which is not what they are. They're all the same exact group of people. Archaeology is so sick in the head and so polluted that it's almost like a garbage science. So I'm so sick of it, it's almost, I want to vomit. But it's so easy to get to the bottom of it. If you just spend a few hours looking at peer-reviewed research, you can pretty much critically think through the garbage. As we have, because everything we said 10 years ago is exactly what's being proven today. Hey. So how can you be right without a peer-reviewed study when we just use critical thinking? I wonder how that works. Now, the study was published by the American Journal of Science and Yale University. The LSU campus mounds, with construction beginning at approximately 11,000 years before present, are the oldest known extant man-made structures in the Americas. Should be front-page news on every mainstream media outlet, but it never made the news anywhere. Why do you think that is? One of the most significant breakthroughs in construction in North America never made the news in mainstream media. It means you should homeschool your kids and watch the Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Now, the missing radioactive capsule found in Western Australia has been found. It took about 6 days, and they did do a survey, and they were moving slowly up the road, and they were using Geiger counters, and when you come close enough to a piece of this cesium-137, it's going to light up the map. So even if you have a crappy instrument, you're just holding it, if you get within 1,000 feet of it, it's going to blow up the instrument. Because if you were within 3 feet of this little tiny piece of metal, you would have been dead in 4 hours. That's why this was so significant. People have emailed me today. They're like, why aren't you worried about all the radioactive water being pumped into the Pacific? I'm like, because it's 50,000 times less lethal than this pea. This tiny piece of pure metal, cesium-137, could kill everyone in the world if we just all held it for an hour and passed it down the line. That's how concentrated and dangerous the gamma and beta radiation coming from this object was. The spent nuclear fuel radiation that they're flowing out into the ocean as effluent is 100,000 times less concentrated than this object in millirads. So, get a clue. All links are below. Now, what I find interesting is that people comment about something I talk about without reading the article. And they look really dumb really quick. Now, there's either two problems. One, they're illiterate and they can't read, but because they're writing a comment means that they probably can read. Number two, that they are lazy, useless eaters. And that's a fact. Now, the CDC warns that a brand of everyday eye drops that most people have in their house, if you make more than $40,000 a year, you probably have some of this crap. It's all garbage. I don't use any of this over-the-counter I'll use a Band-Aid, but I'm not using any of this other crap. Trust me. It's all poison. And if it's not poison, it's not natural. And if it's not natural, I don't fucking want it. The CDC warns that a brand of eye drops, and guess what? I've been sick in a very, very long time. I'm immune to COVID and many other diseases because I don't take medicine. I don't get vaccines. Hello! My immune system, God-given by the universe, well, is jacked. Because of the micronutrients, the pure food I eat, the fact that I don't consume carcinogens all day like most humans, well, means that I'll probably live longer and healthier than most humans. They believe the hype. They watch the mainstream. They eat Doritos. I've eaten Doritos. I love a Dorito. I'll eat like a few bags a year, maybe. That's a high estimate. But in general, I don't eat ultra-processed foods because I know what the ingredients are. They're toxic. They may be enjoyable, but they will kill me if I continue to eat them on a daily basis, which I will never do. I've been to McDonald's in like 27 years. So if I actually went there and ate their food, it probably would be so disgusting, I would throw up and sharp my pants. Now let's get back to more of the garbage being sold over the counter. At least one person has died, and others were blinded after using a simple over-the-counter artificial tears. That's all it is. Everyone knows what this is. It's so much safer than Visine. It's just saline. No, it contains like an eye-eating bacteria that's resistant to all antibiotics and completely disgusting. Pseudomonas aeruginosa bacteria are commonly found in water and soil, and even on the hands of otherwise healthy people, but not in supposedly FDA-controlled shit that's called artificial tears that you're supposed to squirt in your eye. Hello? Yeah. Do not trust these multinational corporations. They don't give a about you or your eyes or your money. Do you know that Russia and Iran plan a gold-backed stablecoin? This would not only be the end of the empire if you live in North America, but would be the bankruptcy of you. Brazil and Argentina seek a shared currency as well. There are 5 raising threats to the dollar's dominance and global trade that are emerging during a period of recession. This could be bad news. If you don't have alternative sources to save your money like gold, silver, seeds. And preps, well, if anything happens to the markets in an instant, you would be bankrupt. Let's say the US dollar collapses because of what they're doing over here in Russia and Iran. You better have Bitcoin. You better have gold. You better have preps. You better have water saved because no one's coming to help you. I don't care what you've been told. No one is coming to help you. Now, we've discussed this paper years ago. I did a couple podcasts on it talking about Charles Hapgood, and this one specifically, Mark Carlotto, towards a new theory of Earth's crustal displacement. It's very similar to the work that Mario Bildreps has done, and completely different than the Charles Hapgood, Ben Davidson gobbledygook hypothesis that's based on no science whatsoever. This is actually based on science, peer-reviewed science, and lays a better snapshot of what may have actually occurred. Now, if you want the full paper, you just come over to the link here, to the ResearchGate, and you click download, and you're going to get the full PDF, which is 17 pages. And in those 17 pages, you're going to see that what they've determined is that the pole shift itself, if it does occur, over the last several 100,000 years has not been extreme. It doesn't go to the equator and back because there's no evidence of that. Lee and I have uncovered in all the peer-reviewed research the fact that the Arctic has been frozen for at least 2.4 million years continuously. In order for that to be true, the Arctic has always had to be up at the Arctic. Now, according to the work here in the paper, the pole has only shifted up here within the Arctic Circle, which allows for a continuous permafrost layer here within the triple circle in this zone to have existed for that period of time, which in fact, that's the zone where it exists. So there could be something to this research, and we have invited Mark J. Carlotto on the show so that Lee and I could discuss further the implications of the research. And that's a boom to knowledge. Proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance. I hope you got something out of the video. We try to bring you something new every night to tantalize and titilize, and hope we did it tonight. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this with like-minded people. More importantly, become a Patreon. Support the work we do. You get all of the videos we produce on every platform in one source, one location, commercial free, for just $1 a month or more. And that's a boom. Be safe. We love you.